Hello.
Hello.
Hey.
Are you Kelly?
I am.
I'm Chris Cower of the PD.
Hi.
So I got a call about crushed stone and getting moved and...
Yeah. So apparently they had a septic system put in
Yeah.
by Rick Labby.
Yeah.
And they dumped a load of crushed stone on our property. So I texted Rick and I said, hey, your guy just dumped some crushed stone on our property. He's like, oh, so sorry, no problem. I'll totally take it out and make it just like it was before.
Okay.
So they took out most of it, but then they raked a bunch of it around in the driveway, which I didn't want it there because of the lawnmower.
Yeah.
So I raked it up together and I was pulling it out and putting it up underneath the hedges under there where the water runs down to the lake.
Okay.
So, and he apparently objected to that. And who's screaming at me, whose stone is that? Well, I'm assuming it's mine if Rick left it and spread it out on my property after he finished the tank. So.
How'd you leave it with Rick?
I didn't want to bug Rick again.
Yeah.
And so I just decided I would just put it up here. Because,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, if you want to give Rick a call, I'm sure he will corroborate
Yeah,
that.
well, because I understand you guys have a property dispute down there. And,
Well,
you know, that's neither here nor there. But
yeah.
if they've paid for that material, then it's their
I don't know
material.
what they've paid for.
Yeah.
Because they paid for a septic system. Now,
Yeah.
Rick used material to do their septic and it's done, and the
Yeah.
material he dumped on our property, he spread it out and said he was finished.
Yeah.
So that you would have to check with him on.
Yeah.
And if it is theirs, they need to get it off because it's trespassing.
Yeah.
But,
Well,
I mean,
that's the property.
that's a
is-
civil issue
yeah,
altogether.
Yeah, exactly. But
So,
if the material is part of that project, that's their material. They paid for the project, and that's their
well,
material.
Rick spread it out on our land and said he was finished.
Yeah. Yeah. So the video they have is you going down there and loading up a wheelbarrow. And
Yeah, it's
bringing-
our property that I
Okay.
was on.
Yeah, but they claim it's their property.
Oh, it absolutely isn't.
Yeah. Yeah.
No. There's lines spray painted on the ground by the surveyor if you
Hey,
want.
sir, Chris Cowan
This is my husband, Barry.
from the PD.
Yeah,
I probably realize that.
Yeah.
But I mean, the land I was on is
Yeah.
ours. I have a survey. There's
Yeah.
lines on the ground. There's
Yeah.
pins in the ground. As
Yeah.
for whose stone that is, Rick left it with us.
Yeah.
That he was going to restore our property to exactly like it was before.
Yeah.
They picked up, like I said, they picked up with the backhoe.
Yeah.
And then he spread it out with the rake and he left.
Yeah. Okay.
And I just figured I didn't want to make an enemy out of Rick by making him come back and
Yeah.
scratch it all out again.
Yeah.
So I just decided I was going to put it another place on our property. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what I'll probably do, ultimately, like I said, if they have paid, I'll reach out to Rick. If they have paid for that material, that's their material. It's got to go back.
well, then Rick needs to get it off our property.
Yeah. Well. Ultimately, you moved quite a bit of it up.
It's right. It's still right there. If they want it, they can come get it. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think
Well,
it's
no, it'll be up to you to move it back. You know what I mean? But
on our property, somewhere different on our property.
Well, you got to remember, that's a disputed property.
it is not.
Yeah.
The part that stone was on is not disputed in any
Right on
way.
the side of the road, right there.
Yep.
Okay.
If you'd like to see our survey and their survey, you can figure out it is
Yeah.
not in dispute.
Well, you guys are engaged in a legal conflict.
We're going to be suing them. Yes, we aren't in that
Yeah.
that stage yet, but yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, but absolutely, positively, the stone was on our property. Rick left it with us. That it was ours. He spread it out. I didn't want to bug him again.
Yeah.
I just decided I
Yeah,
didn't want it there because the mower was going to throw it all over and probably break their windows, which
Yeah.
they don't want, I'm sure. So,
Yeah, I'll have to reach out to him and see.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if they have paid for that material's theirs.
if they paid for a project and that project is done and Rick spread material on our property, I'm pretty sure Rick can determine whose stone that is.
Yeah, but like I said, if the material is theirs, it's going back to them, one way or the other.
If the material is theirs, Rick shouldn't have spread it on our property.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, it is actually. It's
Actually,
here.
yes, it
it's
is.
actually
Well,
absolutely.
It's disputed property.
It is
No,
not. No. Wait.
It
You
is not disputed property.
Yeah.
That is ours.
Calm down.
Okay. Well, that's not what they say.
They always lie when the police come.
Okay.
We have surveys. We have 2 surveys.
But the property's right on the edge of their driveway.
That's-
Or I should say, the material was right on the edge of their driveway.
That doesn't matter.
It's not. Hold on.
The pile was right there.
It's not their driveway, though. Okay. So their survey.
You're saying that they don't even own the driveway?
They don't.
No.
And the camp
They don't.
and all that other
No.
They own the
stuff?
camp, but you want to come down and take a look? Because you seem
No,
to have.
I don't
wait,
wanna.
you seem to have an issue.
Fun.
Hang on. You seem to have an issue with it.
There's no issue. All I'm saying is, ultimately, if they've paid for that material, that's their material.
Well, then you can ask Rick about
Yeah,
that.
no, that's
if
what I'm
Rick
gonna
left
do.
it, if Rick dumped it on our property, and
Yeah.
the way he left it with us was he was finished. He spread out what he didn't use in their
Yeah.
project.
Yeah.
And I don't know. You could go to court over it, I guess, but I'm not sure the PD
Well,
is
I'm not going to
in
court
a
over it.
position to decide who's.
I'm not going to.
But what
court
I'm
over
saying
it.
is, okay, so every time we call the police,
Yeah.
it's a civil issue, right?
Yeah. Well,
So-
the property certainly is. It's the material. That's a physical item. The material that you're hauling off with the wheelbarrow.
Yeah, but
that's,
to try to decide
theirs.
whose property it is,
yeah.
it's sitting on.
The material.
I
is
get that.
theirs. Yeah.
Is it though? Because
Well, yeah, they paid for the project. I mean, that'll be up to
okay,
Rick.
that'll be up to Rick.
Yeah.
So why
Okay.
don't you contact
Yeah,
Rick?
that's what I'm going to do.
Because
And then contact us.
but
Yeah.
the way Rick left it with us was that he was done. He was going to get rid of the material. He got rid of most of the material. I wasn't happy. I didn't call him back because I didn't want to piss him off.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
I
he's
just
a good guy.
I know. I just decided that I would move it where it would better be served up on the underneath the row of hemlocks where they just finished
Yeah.
the project and they didn't put enough stuff.
Yeah.
So, you know what? If Rick thinks it's their material, Rick can come take it and put it back because he's the one that spread it on our property.
Well, I mean, you can take that up with him, but
Well, why not
what-
Rick?
yeah.
All of them.
Okay.
Very sorry. He didn't know it was your property. It is. And I said, okay, but if it's for your convenience and you're going to remove it and clean it up, that's fine. And he said, yep, I will. I'll see to it. I'll make it just like it was before. They finished the project yesterday. I mean, you can't put any more material in their septic system. I don't know, did they buy material or did they buy a job? I don't know. That's a debate.
Yeah,
That's
I don't-
completely debatable.
I don't. Well, what isn't debatable is if that material is part of that job, or Rick is just throwing that in. But if it's their material, let's say.
Well, why don't you call Rick right now?
Let's say I had. Well, I'm not going to bother him at
But you bother us.
9 o'clock on a Saturday night.
But you're okay with bothering us at
Yeah,
9 o'clock on a
okay.
Saturday
I'm
night.
not going to. You guys are quite unreasonable, I see. All
Actually,
I'm trying to explain is, ultimately, I just want to resolve the situation.
Yep.
So if I have my driveway paved and they have some leftover stuff,
Yep.
even if they're done, I've paid for the leftover stuff. You
Mm-hmm.
can't just come along and take it.
if you leave it on my property, then it's trespass.
Then you call me and I come tell the people to remove it from your property. The problem is that property is in dispute down there.
It is not in
It is
dispute.
not.
Okay, don't.
You say you guys own it. They say they own it. So it's disputed. So
Well-
you got to settle that in court.
Wait,
I can't weigh into that.
can I just say one thing?
Sure.
Okay, so each of us has a survey.
Mm-hmm.
The part where that material was is not disputed in either. I mean, it's on our survey. It's not on their survey.
Okay, so you're saying the pile of material, because it's on your property, it's now your property.
No, not necessarily, but
Okay.
because Rick left
That's
it that.
that's essentially what you're saying.
No,
No.
but it was on our property, and the
Yeah.
contractor said he
Yeah.
was finished.
Yeah.
He cleaned it up to the degree he was going to clean it
Yeah.
up, and I just chose to clean it up more because I didn't want that being blown around with the lawnmower.
Yeah.
That's literally it.
Well, it's on
So-
the side of the pile where you were getting with the wheelbarrow, because I saw the video, was on the
Would you-
side of the driveway.
But it's not their property. They
They
haven't.
say it is.
But okay, would you look at a survey? Are
Yeah.
you in a position to do that?
Rick, I'm not going to wade into property disputes.
But
You know what I
okay.
mean, that's outside of the law.
Well,
What
well,
is
I
the law
understand
is-
that, but
is
you're
the
saying-
ownership of the material.
But you're saying that where the material was on their property.
And it's not.
No, I have no idea if it's your
Okay.
property or their property.
Okay,
I have no idea.
It's absolutely on our property.
Okay.
Okay, that's not debated.
They-
but they lie every time you guys
They
come.
claim it's absolutely on their property. You see what I'm saying? So it's a he said.
Okay,
she
so
said.
Bob Knowlton.
What isn't in debate is whether or not they own the material. They do own the material.
How do you know that?
Well, I'm assuming Rick is going to say that that's all part of the project.
Well, then why did Rick spread it on our property? Because I told him it was our property and that we
Yeah,
needed
we're
to
just
get
going-
it off.
We're just going round. and
Well, I
round in
understand
circles.
that, but
Yeah.
I think what the bottom line here is that whose material it is very much in debate. You pay.
No, they pay for it. Did you pay for this rock right here? You paid for this rock.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. They can't just come up with a wheel.
No, obviously.
You know what I mean?
But if the contractor comes in, he mistakenly dumps material on your property
Yeah.
that he's going to use in a project.
Yeah.
He finishes his project, and then he spreads it on your property and says he's finished.
Yeah, then it's his responsibility to get it off your.
Well, then he
off
can
your
come in
property.
and we'll deal with that. But what I'm saying is, the way he left it with me is that whatever was done there, it was finished, and whatever was on the ground was mine. I don't get in the middle of Rick and their deal or whatever.
Yeah.
The stone is Rick's.
Yeah.
However, he parts it out to them, and I don't get in the middle. I don't know what their job agreement was.
Yeah.
But the way Rick left it with us was he mistakenly dumped it. He cleaned it to the degree he was going to clean it. I just cleaned it more. And there was a lot of material there. I was surprised
Yeah.
how much there was.
Yeah.
So I raked it up last night, and I was going to bring it up tonight underneath where it needs to be. So,
Yeah.
you know what? I don't really think. I mean, unless Rick comes in and says, "Oh no, it's absolutely their material," well then he shouldn't have left it. with
Yeah,
us.
yeah, I agree. If
So,
that's what he says, yeah, I agree. However, like I said, just because the material may or may not have been left on your property. You say it's your property. That's fine. That doesn't mean that material is now yours.
I understand that.
Okay.
But the circumstance wasn't that. It wasn't
Yeah.
that, I know it's theirs and they accidentally put it on my property and I'm going to go steal it. It was Rick. We talked to Rick
Yeah.
and he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know it was your property. I'll clean it all up.
Yeah.
Well, he cleaned it up to a degree
Yeah.
and contractor degree. So
Yeah.
I just wasn't happy with it. I didn't want to bug him again, make him come and rake it and put it in a wheelbarrow or whatever. So I was bringing it up here.
Yeah.
I don't want to be blowing it around with a lawnmower. That's it. And they can scream all they want. What do they? Their project is finished. What do they want it for?
So you're saying you own the camps down there as well?
No.
No.
Oh.
We
Would
own.
you? Would you like to see? There's spray paint on the ground that Bob Knowlton put on the ground.
Yeah. Who's Bob Nolan?
Their surveyor.
Their surveyor?
Their
surveyor.
surveyor.
We-
They literally are too numb to know, and he keeps coming over and putting marks on the ground to show
Yeah.
them what they own. There's a spray paint line across the driveway showing
Yeah.
where they own.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, that's all right. The only thing, the reason because it's irrelevant really to me. It just it's about the material itself.
But the relevance is Rick spread it on our property and
Yeah.
left it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm assuming it's Rick's material. I am
Yeah.
not in the middle of their project.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Rick left it with me.
Yeah.
He was done. He fixed our property. He left. It's all good.
Yeah.
Okay. You can understand where I'm coming from.
No, I can see your.
I'm not trying to steal their material.
Yeah, I can see your point. I mean,
And they've been very acrimonious, and
Yeah.
granted, we're not happy either, but they have lied every time the police have come.
Yeah.
That it's our property, it's Connie's property. I mean, we have 2 surveys.
yeah.
And I'm not asking you to be a surveyor, but there
Yeah.
are spray paint marks on the ground.
Yeah, yeah, and see, we can't weigh into survey. That's all. You guys got to settle that in court.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But you know what? They're claiming a piece of our property as theirs, which isn't. They've got the little fence down there. We haven't done anything to it. We're going to handle that in court.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
But there are spray paint marks on the ground where there is absolutely, positively no dispute.
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
But
That's
yet
where
they literally lie every time the police come. And I know they're buddies with the police and whatever. and
I've never met these people before in my life.
Well, good. I'm
Yeah.
glad. But I get the feeling that there's some relationship in the upper echelon, not you.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
But there's a real favoring of them. And
this guy's from Falmouth.
yeah, it's their son.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's screaming at me. Whose material is that, huh? It's like, if it's yours, come get it. It's mine. I'm gonna move it because I don't want it here.
Yeah.
The more they drive over it, the harder it's gonna be to get it out.
Yeah.
Which
Okay.
is why
all
I
right,
was
so
doing
you're-
it now.
What you're saying is they can just grab. You just want the material moved.
Exactly.
Okay. So all right.
If they want the rest of it, take it.
Yeah.
But the way it was left with Rick and us, it was. I mean, I didn't want it.
Yeah.
I would have preferred Rick cleaned it all up and took it away.
Yeah.
But it's just literally in my way. So
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the fix then. To have.
have him get it out of there.
Yeah.
I don't think he's man enough, but whatever.
Yeah. Ultimately, this is a waste of everyone's time.
It absolutely
Yours
is.
and theirs and
Understood.
mine.
I'm sorry. I didn't call you.
No, I
Yeah.
know, but
This
I mean,
time-
you guys ought to just sit down and have a dinner together
You know
and
what?
settle
No,
the whole
that-
thing.
But
that won't happen.
No.
You know what
No,
happened?
no.
Okay, so this whole thing is about the stupid 4 little orange posts that are out by the side of the road,
Yeah.
right? Our lawyer's like, hey, you know what? You can slow traffic. You own the property. Try to narrow it a little bit because we don't want to put speed bumps in because people freak out. They show up in our yard and say, you stay the hell off our property. And we said, okay, but ditto.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And every time the police come, oh no, we own this and we own that. And the surveyor comes out and he does a survey and he shows them and he spray paints on the ground 10 times and they still tell the police that they own whatever.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to waste.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, ultimately, you got once a judge rules on this, then it can become our issue because then it becomes a criminal trespass thing and the whole. nine
You
yards.
say that.
Yeah.
You say that. They had cars parked on our lawn for 2 months last summer. We called the police and they're like, well, that's a boundary dispute.
Yeah.
It's not. That boundary is not in any dispute.
Well, it is because you think not think.
We have a survey.
You claim it's yours. They claim it's theirs.
Yeah, but okay.
So that's the
So
dispute.
when the police come to such a thing,
Yeah.
do 2 surveys that actually show an abutting line, both are matching.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean do you get into that?
We
or
don't.
Okay.
No, that's 100% civil.
Then why are we here?
Because
the
of
material. Okay.
So if I pave my driveway and
I
I
get
have
it.
a bunch of material left over, right?
Yeah.
That's still my material.
Well,
right?
if indeed
Well,
you
depends,
paid for
but-
the actual material.
Well, they paid for a job, obviously.
Okay, so
Yeah.
if you pay for a job,
Yeah.
okay, I do taxes. So
Yeah.
if you come to me to get your taxes done, and I use 5 sheets of paper and well, there's a sixth one on the desk, but I don't use it for your tax. Is it yours? You know what I'm saying? It gets very murky. So Rick left it with us.
Yeah.
You know, can you see where I'm coming from?
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, if Rick tells me that, yeah, no, that all that material was part of that job and these people paid
Isn't
for
it
it,
slightly subjective, though?
that's their material. It's not subjective at all.
No, but what I'm saying is,
In fact, if they push the matter, then I got to charge you with theft because you're clearly on camera with a wheelbarrow taking
on my own property, taking stuff that I was told was mine.
Again, if that property is yours, and it probably is.
Yes.
Regardless, that material is
No,
not.
I understand.
So-
Well, perhaps. You say it isn't.
Just because my car breaks down at the end of the driveway, right? Your driveway doesn't mean you can get in.
No,
there.
I totally
It's mine now. It's my car now.
understand that.
Right?
But
mean, it's the
I
same
have
thing.
I have a text message thread with Rick
Yeah.
from yesterday.
Yeah.
And I said, "Hey Rick, you know, what's up with that?" He's, "Oh, I'm so sorry, very, very sorry. I will make it like it never happened."
Yeah.
I got him on video raking it, you know, and then I went down. I'm like, "Shit, there's like so much here that it's going to roll all over the place and get in a lawnmower."
Yeah.
So instead of bugging him again, making him come back out, I went to school with Rick. So I just decided, and I didn't know they were even coming tonight. Like, they just showed up and they're like, "Oh, pissy." So, you know, I'm sorry, but my understanding was it was mine to deal with.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
No, like I said, I just got to talk to Rick about it and
We'll wait
see,
for your call.
But and the other
Yes,
thing,
we'll
the
wait
other
for your
thing,
call.
the other thing, you know, just you know, in general. So when you sign a contract with someone for a job, you know, they say this price for putting in your septic tank. You know, if they actually give you a bill of sale for each, you know, load of rock or in each whatever, okay, maybe, but that's Rick's thing. He shouldn't have told me, you know, we're done and it's there and it's yours to deal with, basically, right? I mean, I don't want to get into it with Rick, but that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, like I said, if Rick said no, that all that material is part of the job and these people paid for it, then yeah, it's their material, 100%. Then it becomes a matter of do they want to pursue charges because you're clearly on camera loading it into a wheelbarrow, taking it away. You know what I mean? So I understand.
Pursue
so
charges because Rick told me it was mine?
Well, again, I got to talk to Rick about it. So it all depends.
Okay, so if Rick says, no, it's theirs, so...
Well, what he may say is that the job was done. One of the landowners wasn't happy, so I went back and I spread some stuff to try and smooth it out. That wasn't part of the project.
Yeah.
If that's what he's saying, then we got no issue here. But if he's saying that material is, who's this guy?
It's our neighbor.
Oh. If he's
Part of-
saying that material is part of the project, and I don't
Okay,
want to
so-
wade into it.
In all due respect.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah! He looks after us because he knows. So if the pile was next to their septic system, and I'm like, hell, I'm going to go get some of that.
Yeah.
Well, of course. But my understanding 100% was Rick was patched our property up. He was done. He's just going to come pick up his backhoe, whatever it is. So if I was misled, I'm going to get charged with theft.
All depends if they want to pursue it, or you can bring the material back to them. You know what I mean?
And where would you like me to put it? Because
Right
I'm not
back
putting
to-
it back on my property.
Well, you can put it over by the septic system.
But when I
if
be
you want to.
trespassing, they told me to stay off their property.
I'll ask them about that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I would much rather, if that's what Rick tells me, then yeah, that's going to be my comment to you. Well, you can either bring it back or you can get charged with theft, one of the two. You know, and then I'll ask them, hey, you good with her bringing the material
and
back?
they'll say no.
Well, then you know, it is what it is.
Now, my observation here is that the material was on my property, and now it's still on my property in a different place.
Yeah.
So is that theft for me to move the material?
Yeah. So, like I said, if we just keep going round and round.
No, it's a different question.
Yeah. Well, if they've paid for that material,
Yep.
then yes. If they haven't, and Rick was just doing that to make it right, make the driveway right, or
Yeah.
make you guys happy, then that's technically Rick's material, and he can do whatever he told you to
Exactly.
move it or whatever.
Yeah.
But if that's not the case, then yeah, no, we'll have an issue for sure. If that's project
And
material.
if I have the text messages from Rick telling me what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And now
You wanna hear it?
if he says something else,
Yeah, I can take a look at them
Okay.
if you guys want me to.
Hang on.
take a look at
Let's
them.
go.
you can stay right here. I'll get it.
Actually, Kelly, can I grab his number from you?
Oh yeah. 465 5500.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Hey, your guys just dumped some material on our property by Prelgovisk. Prelgovisk have no right to make any changes there. Oh shit, I didn't know they did that. I'll call them right now. We will clean it up. He said he dumped some crushed stone there to use in the septic tank hole. I'll make sure it's back to original. I guess he didn't know that was on your property. Very sorry. I said, if it's just for your convenience and you will be moving it and fixing the damage, that's fine, because I made a big rut as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? Thanks. He's like, okay, I understand. So then he had I had another question for him about the road out here, which is what he goes on about. But
Yeah.
so, if that's, if he's going to now turn around and say, oh no, it's theirs, I'll bring it back. I'm not stealing anything.
Yeah.
My understanding is totally that this
Yeah.
is what Rick said, and
Yeah. Yeah. No, I can definitely
it's
see
Rick's
that.
material.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I can definitely see that. So I'll just kind of explain that, and like I said, I'll give Rick a shout tomorrow. And
I think it's silly. I mean, the whole thing is
Call
I
us.
agree with you 100%.
Call us after.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
because I mean, this whole thing has wasted enough of Oakland PD's time, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, this is the first time I've ever been down in
Yeah.
here to deal with this.
Lucky
dispute.
you.
Yeah, so,
Lucky you.
yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. But my understanding, again, I was not trying to do anything to them, or I just objected to how much. I mean, that stone, I have stone. It doesn't ever completely settle, so
Yeah.
it's sitting on top of gravel and it's moving and rock. It's like,
Yeah.
I was mowing the lawn. It's like, no, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
again,
Yeah.
I mean, charging me with theft, our lawyers are going to have a field day with that. I mean,
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't have a dog in the fight. I mean,
I understand.
Like I said, if
I get it, but
Rick
my
said that's
underst-
their stuff, then that's their stuff.
well, I can't return it, but my understanding was it's not their stuff.
Yeah.
It's Rick's
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay.
And he mentioned that, didn't he?
Well, I mean, he said my guy dumped dumped the material shit. We didn't know it was your property.
Yeah.
I'll make it just like it was, which he didn't.
Yeah.
But whatever. He's a contractor.
Yeah.
So again, sorry.
I
but-
thought he was pretty responsive to it, to tell you the truth.
What's that?
What in terms of the whole text string there?
Oh yeah, no.
He's pretty
He was
responsive.
out here. I mean, he was out here and back and forth. So
A lot of guys would just be like,
blow it off. Yeah, forget. No,
Yeah,
no,
no,
Rick's
no.
a good guy.
He's a good
So,
Yeah, yeah.
so again, that's why I didn't want to bug him.
Yeah.
I could have been like, "You didn't pick this shit up enough. Get out here."
Yeah.
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 So I was just trying to just deal with it
Yeah.
in the least obnoxious way I could.
Yeah.
And then they
No,
got
it looks good what you did.
well. Okay, so they.
As long as that's Rick's material, not theirs.
Well, let's hope,
Yeah,
right?
you're right.
But no, honestly, the Kennebec County Soil and Water District came out. They did a plan for the road, and when they came in and did it, they didn't put enough material. So I'm like, great, I'll put it there. It's perfect.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Sorry, it's such a waste.
No, it is what it is. This is why we get paid the big bucks.
Oh, I bet
to
you
wade
do.
into these things.
Crazy.
So, yeah.
All right.
All right, folks. I'll get out of here for tonight.
All right,
Have
thank
a good
you.
night. I'll
Yep.
follow up with you tomorrow.
All right. Let me know whatever we need to do.
Hey, Kelly.
Hey.
So I talked to Rick. Finally got a hold of him. I played phone tag with him a ton, and actually was able to talk to him today. And he said that stone was part of the project. So it is what it is.
I've got videos of Rick spreading out the balance on our property because he said he was fixing the damage.
Okay. Yeah. What are you doing out there?
I was cleaning some bricks.
Oh, good grief.
So Rick told me that he quoted him like on the job,
Yeah.
that the stone was not separate. So in which case the contractor usually takes the extras home or does whatever he wants with them.
Yeah. Yeah, but ultimately you didn't pay for that.
He repaired damage on our property. If Rick was not authorized to give that material away, then you should be charging him with theft,
Yeah.
not me.
Well, be that as it may, obviously you guys didn't purchase that material.
Yeah.
Rick has told me that material was for that project, so they own that material.
Okay, Rick told me that he was repairing damage he did to my property. And I have the videos of him repairing it, and I have the video of them spreading it out, him
Yeah.
raking it out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
The intent, okay, so the law reads that you have to deprive someone of their property.
Yeah.
The intent to deprive, there's no way. That was my property, on my property.
Yeah.
The contractor literally told me he was repairing my property. I have videos of him raking it all out, if you want to
so
see those.
He explained that you complained about the damage to the
Yes, I
property.
did. Yep.
And then, because we reviewed those text messages the other night.
Yep.
And so you had said that his guys had dumped stuff in the
Yep.
wrong place.
Correct,
And things
yep.
of that nature. So he's
And-
like, I'll clean it up.
I'll clean it up and I'll repair the damage. I'll make it like it was originally. Now,
Yeah.
I wasn't happy with what he did
Yeah.
because he left way too much material there.
Yeah.
And he told me that he was done and that was the repair.
Yeah.
So, in my mind, that's mine to move. I'm not going to ask them to move it or him to move it.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah, so I mean, again, ultimately, you didn't purchase that material; they did. It's their stuff.
Rick gave it to me.
Yeah. Well, that's
Rick-
not what Rick has told.
I have a video of Rick putting it on our property. Do you want to see that? Or are you just going to charge me without any evidence?
No, what I'm going to do is I'm going to charge you, but I'm going to give you the option to take that stuff back, and then I will take care of the charges.
Take care of them? How's that?
Zip.
Well, I don't have the opportunity to bring it back before you charge me.
Well, no, because I don't want to get into the game of, I don't hear from you for the next 2 months. You know what I mean?
Well, how about you hear from my lawyer
So-
tomorrow?
Well, that's
Because
fine.